Bible passages are being read in Ge'ez, the ancient language of the Ethiopian kingdom. It's related to Arabic and also significantly to Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament and King Solomon himself. Haptamu says that no one speaks it now. For Ethiopians, it's like the Latin Mass. But this isn't the main event. The crowds are outside a cave. And it's this cave that has the real significance here. This place contains beehives, which are regarded as holy by the congregation.
That's how they make the honey from the ceiling of the cave.
Amazing.
And that's why it's considered that it is a holy honey, because they are in the church.
They died in the church.
And nobody brought them by themselves.
Oh, they came by themselves.
And the honey which is taken from this is given to the people that considered as a holy honey.
I see. You can really feel a palpable feeling of people believing in this space. That it's not just communing with God, it's making contact with a very profound past. Honey is a staple of Ethiopian religious and everyday life. From the honey, the Ethiopians make a kind of mead, which is called tej. It is both the national drink and the communion wine. This honey is believed to have healing powers, a cure for everything from minor ailments to major ones, like leprosy. Honey has long had a special place in other cultures in Africa and the Middle East. What's unique to Ethiopia is its connection to one of the kingdom's greatest rulers. It's said that a swarm of bees prophesied his future greatness when he was a baby, and that he was named after the bees' humming sound. His name was Lalibela. The city he built, which today bears his name, is a place which has no parallel with anywhere else on earth. I've travelled east from Gondar. Now I'm heading to one of the most important places in Ethiopian history, Lalibela. Not much that could prepare you for that. It's just astonishing. This is one of the churches of Lalibela. They've been sculpted out of the mountain, each one carved from solid rock. You get a sense of just what a huge amount of energy it must have taken to excavate this hole and to do it with such incredible precision. Every single one of those angles is just so precise. You can still see the subtle incline of the hill on the roof, but the actual body of the church. And if you designed it, made it in concrete with moulds, you couldn't make it more precise. It's just astonishing. The man responsible for commanding the building of 11 of these incredible structures was Emperor Lalibela. But according to the Kebra Nagast, which was written more than a century after these churches were built, Lalibela was an interloper, a member of a rival dynasty which could not claim Solomonic descent. However, Lalibela claimed God commanded him to build these churches, and in so doing, he attempted to claim legitimacy as an emperor because he was doing God's work. A legend grew over centuries that the buildings were completed at superhuman speed. But recent research by a team of French archaeologists, led by François-Xavier Fauvel, suggests otherwise.
The usual story on Lalibela says that the whole churches were built at the same time during a very short period of time, whether it was 3 nights and 3 days or 24 years. Yes. But basically this is the same story. And now we are starting to expand the sequence, yes. And which covers now a number of centuries. Yes. We have occupations here, human occupation, centuries before the 13th century, yes. and the architectural program of Lalibela develops on 2 or 3 centuries, yes. From the 12th to the 15th century at least. We can go inside here.
There's still a great deal that historians don't know about Lalibela. It's unlike any other archaeological site, in that it's almost a case of archaeology in reverse.
So in that way, it is not an archaeological site, and you have to wash your mind about all this kind of previous way of thinking about architecture and archaeology. Instead of having successive deposits, you have just successive removals of stone, and instead of having this deposit accumulating and giving you information about the successive occupiers of the place, you have people who, the more they removed, the more they erased, yes. traces of people that were here before.
The French investigations are expected to go on for at least 4 years. Emperor Lalibela left an intriguing legacy, one which underlines the uniqueness of his kingdom.
Down here outside, when you don't actually just have the light radiating straight down onto it, that you can begin to see just the intensity of the colour of the rock, and it almost glows. It just blows you away because it's completely unlike anything I've seen before, and that isn't just in terms of the design, but it's just thinking about what does it take to do something like this?
It's a breathtaking display of the emperor's power to be able to command his people to excavate thousands of tons of rock without any form of mechanization. And it speaks of the cosmopolitanism of this part of Africa at the time.
They brought images, influences from all over Christendom and beyond. I look at the influences and I'm just amazed that there's two-headed eagle that you might see in Constantinople. There's a Star of David, and in the centre of the Star of David is a cross.
And in the friezes above the arch are what look like Greek icons.
It's an astounding coming together of different cultural influences to create something which certainly aesthetically works, but also sends a signal about this being a new centre of religious thinking, a new Jerusalem.
This is a scale and quality of architecture on a par with many of the achievements of medieval Europe. And it's fascinating to see this cosmopolitan approach in a place which many medieval Europeans considered the extreme fringe of Christendom. Thousands of pilgrims made the journey here to worship, And 700 years later,